What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight. This is Chaos Central's The Book of Boba Fett Roundtable. We got at least one more that's going to show up. I think Comics said he's going to be here. I haven't heard back from Anzo. We'll find out here in a minute about him. But I want to say hi to number one, Mystic Shadows Drop Shop. Thank you, guys. Make sure you share out the stream. If you go to my Twitter right here, at Chris95150, it's on there. And I believe if you go over the Chaos Central Twitter page, it is also there. Am I correct, Austin?
Yes, it's on there as well. I put the pinned tweet in the chat.
All right, cool, good. All right, yeah, but you guys can support us by doing that. If you're not subscribed, please hit subscribe, smash that like button. And if this is your first time coming here, guys, thank you very much. If you're watching after the fact, thank you very much. I got to remember to say that because a lot of people do come back for the replay. And that's all we ever ask of you guys, really, is to come back for our replays. We understand there's a lot of different things to watch throughout the week, but these streams stay up. So make sure you come back and watch these streams if you don't have time when we're live. All right, we're going to go around really quick, get through everybody that we have here currently, and have everybody introduce themselves. Let's start right to my technical left and right on the screen. Left, stage left, I guess. It is Mr. Danny Graham of Comic Chat. Tell everybody about yourself and where you can be found, what you're up to.
I am Danny at Comic Chat. You can find me Monday night, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this same channel. My show is Chaotic Conversations, 4 topics, 4 different people, sometimes 5, depending on their availability. And we talk about different topics that I come up with. Some involve Marvel, DCU, Star Wars, Star Trek, all that good stuff. Just whatever kind of stokes my particular interest that day. Then, of course, Tuesday nights on Zo's channel, Chaos. His show is Chaos List, and the next night his show was The Rule of 3. And then on Saturday nights, Saturday afternoons, we do the Square One where we talk all NFL, NBA. We even did Major League Baseball this past Sunday. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, check us out.
Absolutely. Up next, it's Comic Division. Mr. Comics, tell everybody about yourself and where you can be found, if you remember.
What was the question again?
Yes.
You can find me over at Comics Division. Of course, my Twitter handle is Comics Division, where I talk about
what? It is?
I know, right? It's amazing.
I've been adding you at. Oh my God, this guy's a dick.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I do respond to hey you, hey asshole, dickhead. You know, all those things I kind of respond to.
It's almost as synonymous as Chris.
Yeah,
Chris,
pretty much, right?
Like, what? Yeah.
But yeah, you can follow me at Comics Division on Twitter, and I've been doing my reviews of the Book of Boba Fett. If you like the show, you might want to give it a pass. That's all I got.
Listen, it's an honest opinion, and I like that. I like people. Listen, this is not everybody's cup of tea, and it may not even be everybody's cup of piss. I don't know, but still.
My cup of piss is pretty accurate.
Thank you for being here.
Watch it.
Austinator, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, please.
Yeah, I got a channel. I'm at over 200 subs. I do a bunch of stuff over there. Just go check me out. I help run the Chaos Central Twitter page, which I also put the pinned tweet on the chat. So go check that out. I tweet out basically everybody's shows at this point, the Chaotic Conversation, Chaos List, Rule 3, just everybody's shows it on there. I share. And I'm on everybody's channels. Real View 3000 for the weekly wrap-up, Chaos Central for the Book of Boba Fett Roundtable, the Hangout on Guy Scar's channel, the Basco Scenario, Jason Lee Tucker Statements on Friday nights, Ninjoid's channel for Galactic Chat, and you can just find me everywhere at this point. And you can also find me on Twitter at TheOffStater17. Sometimes I tweet, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Go check me out. Chris, thanks for having me on. Oh, this is going to be an interesting roundtable tonight.
It will be. All right. Last but not least, it's Mr. Nindroid243, Nindroid. And the Droid Cantina is the name of the new channel, or the renamed channel. Tell everybody about that.
All right. You guys can personally find me on my channel, Nindroid243, or you may call it the Droid Cantina, where over there we have Galactic Chat every single Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. where we discuss Star Wars news, Star Wars topics, lots of great stuff over there. Some movie reviews are coming out as well, and lots more. You can always find me on Austin's channel for like Splash Talk and all of that. And you can also find me on Twitter at Nindroid243. And thank you, Chris, for having me on.
Not a problem at all. Okay, guys. Let's get down to it. Overall thoughts. Danny, go ahead.
I think this is the best episode so far. I really like the Wookiee in the cantina. For whatever it was, those people was pissing them off. Huh?
Liked it?
I
liked it?
Yeah. For whatever it was, man, those people pissed him off. But I did a little research. They are like mortal enemies. They're in the same galaxy or planet, I think, and they are like bitter enemies of each other. So I guess that's kind of why he kind of went berserk on that guy. If you didn't do a little bit of research, which I did this week, find that out. Whatever they call Talaskians or Taluskians, whatever the hell they call it.
Transdoshans.
Yeah, the lizard people, the lizard-looking ones. Those and Wookiees are mortal enemies. So I guess he saw them winning that money, and he was drinking a little bit of that ale. Shit, drinking and we add alcohol into a situation. Sometimes it has bad.
His mind was on his money, and his money was on his mind.
Yeah. So overall, it was good. I knew when it opened up with the Bacta tank, I was like, oh shit, here it comes. I know doggone Anzo, Yella comics. I was like, oh shit, they're gonna eat this up like fucking cotton candy at a fair. But I didn't mind it. It would, and as long as they do the flashbacks less time than actual time, I really truly don't have a problem with it. It is a little redundant, I'll give you that, but overall, I've seen worse.
Okay. Comics, overall thoughts. And please don't talk about adult diapers, washing your ass, or anything like that, please.
Those aren't typically topics I bring up, so just curious where that came from. But anyway.
If you were talking about it being shit that you need to be wiped or something like that, who knows?
Gotcha. Well, Danny's not wrong when he says this is the best episode so far, because it's not very difficult, to be honest. There's something else I want to say too about this, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, I'm surprised they didn't call this show "Dreams from a Bacta Tank." Yeah,
at least you know why he was in there. I don't mean to read it, but at least you know why. Because I was like you, like, why is he in there? So he actually was injured.
Well, it was healing the physical scars, is what it was doing on his skin. That's essentially what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was okay. There's a lot of stuff in there I do have issues with, but it was, like I said, it was an improvement over episode. What was it? 4? Go Boba Rangers. I mean,
that was 3. This is 4.
That was okay. Yeah, this is 4. Yeah. So anyway, it was an improvement over the last episode. But like I said, the bar is set pretty low. So I mean, all you gotta do is step up one step, and you're doing better than your previous episode.
Very good. Ostinator, overall thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going to echo basically everybody at this point. This is probably the best episode thus far of the show. I like that, at least judging by from what I've seen, this is probably going to be the last real flashback we're going to get. I like that he's out of the Bacta tank, so hopefully we see Boba Fett kick some ass. I do have a couple issues, but other than that, I'm happy that we're at least kind of going in the right direction a little bit.
All right. And then Droid, overall thoughts.
All right. I'm going to echo everyone again. And yeah, this one was easily the best episode so far. I enjoyed Boba Fett a lot more in this episode than in the previous ones. And I thought the story that was in this episode should have been actually like episode 2 or episode 1 and all of that. So yeah,
I agree with that.
I really enjoyed this episode.
Mm-hmm. All right. I kind of agree with all you guys. Best episode so far. The whole bat the tank thing, I don't think it's a problem when it was done like this. This answered the questions we really need answered. The other stuff can either come in one quick, drawn out thing, or as things happen in the show, like when he goes up against the Pikes or he walks into the Pikes the first time, you can do flashbacks back to those moments that make that relevant. Then, basically making everything a flashback until now, where we're starting to show the stuff happening. It's like, okay, it just seems it's out of place. But then again, every one of these series so far, even with the Marvel stuff, they have yet to figure out where to place certain episodes. They just don't understand placement of episodes, importance first, things like that. But yeah, overall thoughts on this one in particular is this is the best episode. So let's go to what we liked about this. We'll start with Danny on this one.
Like I said, I really like the story and the fact that he finally got the Wookiee on his team. I like how they were sitting on the table over the Rancor pit, and they said something kind of, I guess, disrespectful. And you can see the Rancor reaching up through the table, and they was jumping up, scared. I like that. I thought it was pretty cool. I like the way they showed us how he repaired Fennec. I'll get to the negatives about that particular scene that I didn't like, but overall, I mean that's about it. What I like. I mean, other stuff I really didn't hate. I got a 1 or 2 problems with, like, which I'll say in our negatives. But I really like the character of that Wookiee, and I like that. I still think that we hadn't seen that female sand person, trained warrior woman, whatever. So I still think she's out there, and I think that she.
No, you saw her in that one episode when he saw them all dead.
I didn't see her. I saw the king or whatever, the leader. But I never saw the female.
I thought that was her, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think she's still out there. She's going to another tribe or whatever, and then that's going to be his reinforcement. Because you see how it went off. He said he's looking for an army, so it's either going to be her or Mando. I think he's probably going to call. That's my what I'm predicting going to happen. But like I said, the main thing I like was the scene in the cantina and the Wookiee pretty much dismembering that guy and being a badass and that kind of stuff. That was really cool. So that's it.
Okay. Comics. What did you like about it?
Well, we got to see Boba Fett be ruthless for 5 seconds, where he went after the speeder bike gang. I feel like that was more in line with his character.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's like the only bit where we actually get to see, Boba Fett kind of acting like Boba Fett. The rest of the time is he's either being a dumbass or incompetent, and we'll get to that in this stuff I don't like about this episode. But for the most part, I also like Fennec Shand. I think she acts more like Boba Fett than Boba Fett does. And she's definitely more in line with what a cold-hearted bounty hunter should be like. But anyway,
I have a theory about that. I have a theory that's
I do too.
Well, I think she's going to get her own series, because what happens is when you're in somebody else's series, you're a badass. Boba Fett was a badass in The Mandalorian, but now he has his own show, so now he's the Mandalorian, who was not so badass at times. Now Fennec Shand's a badass. She's going to get her own episode, and she's going to be watered down.
I would not be surprised if that actually happened.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Austinator, what did you like about this episode?
Well, I did like most of the first half, unlike last episode where I thought it was just Like this episode, I like that we see Fennec, and the fact that the flashback was really long kind of also shows that maybe they're not going to do flashback next episode, and that they're going to maybe focus more on present time. I like that he meets Fennec and he gets her rebuilt, even though, like Danny, I kind of have an issue with that scene. I like that Boba kind of scouts how he and Fennec scout out Jabba's palace, and they have the little droid that they put in there to kind of scan like words in there. That was
pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I at least like where
The scanning robot.
Yeah, like the little scanner robot that like showed if there was in there. I like that they give Boba a reasoning for why he wants to be a crime lord, and where he's like, look, you know, why would you do something that would get you killed? Well, not necessarily something, but just like, why would you put yourself in a situation that will get yourself killed when you could have done it another way? And I kind of like that reasoning there. The action in the hangar near the Slave One looked really good too. Probably one of the better action scenes in the show itself, if not the best so far. And I did like the last half where, kind of like Danny, where the Wookiee ripped the guy's arms off. That was pretty sick. And then you have, of course, the little meeting. That little gang meeting where where Boba's like, hey, I need your help against the Pikes. And they're like, no, because again, they're really not bothering us, so we're not really going to do anything to help you. And then the Sarlacc comes up, and then like they're like, oh, what the hell is that? And then of course, you know, Boba feeds the Sarlacc, and I'm like, oh god, they're just continuing to build up to that Sarlacc riding scene. But that's fine. And I also liked how Boba was like, look, if you're not going to help me, that's fine. But do not turn against me or else basically I'll come after you. Essentially, which I like that scene too. And I did like the little Mandalorian sting at the end, which kind of means that Mando will at least make an appearance somewhere down the line. More likely in the last episode or like episode 6. I don't think he's going to show up in episode 5, but you know, he'll show up at some point in some sense. I think that might be about it in terms of what I liked. I think most of this episode was good. I just have I have a couple problems with it. Not a lot, but a couple.
Okay. Nindroid likes.
Okay. I'm actually gonna echo Austin a lot here. Boba's motives for becoming crime boss. I like it. Honestly, it's unique, at least. Boba and Fennec's interactions with each other is another positive of mine. Also, Boba is fully healed. That, to me, is just a big thing right there. All right? At least he's fully healed. He won't go back to the back of the tank and all that. The flashbacks are all done. That's another positive as well. Because we then saw the last flashback was him killing Bib Fortuna, which I like that. The Black Chrysanthemum fight with the Trandoshians, I love that. The Mando hint, great as well. The negotiation scene closer to the end, I thought was pretty well done as well. And honestly, I just think this episode was probably the best paced episode as well. And I just really enjoyed it. So yeah.
I agree with you, right. Later. I mean, enjoyed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Likes. Again, like you guys said, it answered a lot of things. I think this makes it very obvious that Fennec Shand will not backstab him. At least the way they've written it, it shouldn't happen. I'm not saying that means that they're going to catch the hint and not do it. It's just less likely because they're definitely giving her she made the choice to be there, not him. It wasn't like she has anything left to pay back. She paid back what he wanted, which is help me get my ship back. He got his ship back. The scanner droid thing was really freaking kick-ass. I mean, we've seen bits and pieces of tech kind of like that in the past in the movies and stuff, but this is new. So I really liked it. It was it felt very Star Wars. Like it felt like it belonged. And I liked, of course, seeing Slave One back in there. That's nice to have that ship back. It did a lot of the right things. I like the whole cyberpunk palace place, whatever you want to call it. The mod shop. I thought that was kind of cool. Of course, they're really trying to force those bikes on us because they had another one right there. But yeah, no, I think this episode did a lot of things that needed to do. It just answered questions that we did not have yet. So there you go. Let's start with Nindroid. Things you did not like. Nindroid, tell everybody what you didn't like.
Okay. Number one, the whole shop thing, the robot shop, I like to call it, did not feel like Star Wars in my opinion. Honestly, the one from Rise of Skywalker, Babu's shop, or Watto's shop in Phantom Menace feels a lot more like Star Wars than that right there. Okay, and the music as well during that did not feel like Star Wars whatsoever.
Yeah, that music sucked.
Yeah,
like from Blade Runner or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to make it cyberpunk. That's why.
Yeah, I know. And also, my next negative is they do not mention the Slave One's name. That to me, I was like, they had the chance. Yeah,
but they didn't. The only good thing right now is this isn't necessarily not Slave One, because they only said that's my fire spray, not that that's the name of it. So that's the only hope I'm holding out on.
Yeah,
is that they didn't say that's the fire spray. They didn't say that. So
yeah.
Well, you know they're doing away with the name of the ship, right?
Yeah.
That's what everything says, but they haven't like committed fully to it. They just may never say it again. Maybe that's what they're going to do.
Because there's like packaging where it says Boba Fett's ship.
It said, well, and then when it got repackaged again, it says fire spray on it, which is the class of ship it is. So that's up in the air, you know.
Yeah. Also, going back to the Sarlacc pit, I'm sorry, but to me that was unneeded whatsoever. Like, I just felt that was so unneeded. You could cut that entire segment out. And also, it just looks silly for the Slave One to peek inside the pit. Like, seriously, like, what the hell? Like, seriously, like, that was... It was meh right there. You could just cut it and go right to him going off, killing the biker gang and all that, you know? So, yeah. Those are my negatives.
Okay. Austin Eater.
Yeah, the whole like chop shop was just really just it felt like it. I agree with Ninja. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It felt like cyberpunk. The music did not fit the entire scene. The place didn't fit the scene. The hair stuff. None of it felt like Star Wars, and it didn't feel like Tatooine. If that makes any sense. There is a part in Jabba's... there's another thing. Every time now I think about Boba Fett, I'm going to think about freaking banthas. You know, because literally all it is like, right, like a bantha. And then he like starts freaking jumping up and down. Now he's riding a bantha in the freaking... Oh, God.
I'm waiting for the song. Like a bantha. Like a bantha. Ride that bitch like a bantha.
Now he's a freaking bantha. Like, it just... Oh, my God. It's like that entire... that just
I am gonna clip that, Chris.
Yeah,
it's like god damn. It's like freaking geez, come on. There is a part in Jabba's palace that did kind of not necessarily annoy me, but it just felt like really. It's when they. Oh well, geez.
Keep going, lost Chris.
I guess my opinion. Well, all right. Well, there was a scene in the Jabba's palace that kind of made me go. Where he's chasing the freaking robot, like playing hide and seek with it, and like freaking
that was terrible.
Tag, and then he grabs it by the throat. He's like, "You know who I am." And then the robot. I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like, come on. And then the freaking droid turns the off switch. I'm just like, oh my god, that was kind of dumb. And then of course, you know, the freaking Slave One going to the Sarlacc pit. You know, it's like. That scene didn't necessarily bug me. It was just the visual of the freaking Slave One, like, peeking down the Sarlacc pit. Like, let's say you're looking down at a neighbor or something, and you're just, like, looking over its fence. Like, it looked kind of goofy a little bit. But really, those are the only negatives I have.
Okay, very good. Comics.
All right. This time I made a list. A lot of the issues I have with the character is Boba Fett often comes off as being incompetent, and Fennec Shand has to solve his problems for him. That was very present in this episode. A really good example of this is when they're over the Sarlacc pit, and she sees the blinking light. I think it would have been that scene would have been better if he's like, "Hey, Q, hit that button. I can't reach it. I have the main control of the ship," and then she helps him. That would make more sense because it's like you just see this blinking light and you decide to push the button. You have no idea what that's going to do. Maybe it will cut the engines. So I thought that was kind of dumb. Also, the whole idea.
And then he says, "Don't push my buttons."
Yeah, don't push my buttons. Yeah, that was a little on the nose. Anyway, the fact that he peeked the ship over the Sarlacc pit and got closer. First off, as much as I love the ship, it's like, wow, that is a really bad design.
Yeah, his design. I never did understand the.
It's never been a great design.
Yeah, I always thought the ship was cool because they always do these kind of different kinds of ships and whatnot. But it's like, wow, this episode really demonstrated how terrible Slave One actually is as a ship. Not being able to see. He's like running into things. Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. But the idea of that thing's still alive. Why would you do that? And on top of that, does the Sarlacc really have that much strength to be able to pull a ship down like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it leaves me with a lot of questions that I don't think the writing team thought out. Also, why was Slave One sitting in Jabba's palace for like the last 5 years? Nobody bothered to take it and pound it. I don't know. Just the idea. It was the same place.
I would say, Jabba used to like to keep stuff as trophies, so maybe that was his trophy.
Yeah, but Jabba's dead.
What was the guy that they killed?
Bib Fortuna.
I guess maybe I don't know. Because why would you keep Han Solo in carbonite on the wall?
Well,
because pleasure, I guess.
He owed him money. That actually makes sense. But the shipping there, didn't. If they went to an impound lot to go get it, that honestly would have made a lot more sense to me. But whatever. Yeah, I talked about that. Oh, the surgery scene. Okay, that really bugged me. I thought it was funny because they have Fennec Shand in her clothes. While they're doing the surgery. Mm-hmm. Granted, I know it's in the future and they have a higher technology, but it's like she suffered from a gut shot, which obviously we can repair in our world. It should be very easy for them to go and fix that, either dumping her back to tank or whatever. But they took her to a bunch of they took her to a Ripper Doc chop shop and had her abdomen replaced, which means they replaced all of her internal organs, or they took them out and replaced it with these actuators. It's like, why? That is so dumb. It makes zero sense. She would also have died. Go ahead.
I said, how is she still able to eat too?
Exactly. How is she able to digest food? Why is she still alive? Because they basically took out all of her internal organs. That was obviously not sanitary. Again, there was no blood, which is, I find really annoying with these Disney shows. You had a guy get his arm ripped off, no blood. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, and then after they do this surgery where she should probably be in a hospital for several weeks, if not months at this point, having all of her internal organs removed and replaced with droid parts. They release her and they're out in the sand to where she can get infected or get sand in the wound or whatnot. And the guy wouldn't even close her up. That's all. It's just ridiculous.
Star Wars world, baby.
Yeah. I know. Well, it's Disney. It's Disney fight Star Wars. Anyway,
her insides infused with the Force, so that's protecting her.
Also, the fact that Boba Fett went basically diving back into the Sarlacc pit after they killed it, and he's all covered in this acid. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Beskar. It would be fine." Here you are, you're climbing back into the digestive tract of this monster, and you're just covered with slime essentially at this point, or digestive acid. But it's not burning you or your clothing or anything like that. Again, it leaves more questions. And when it comes down to the motives of Boba Fett, that's another issue I have. It's like finally in episode 4 we get the motivations of the character. I mean, maybe we should have got that in episode 1, why he's doing this, which I do find to be a bit on the flimsy side. The dude is a hunter. He likes hunting people. I mean, that's probably the reason why he became a bounty hunter. Granted, I know I'm speculating here because, based off of 5 minutes of footage from Empire Strikes Back, but the guy was a bounty hunter. And now suddenly he doesn't want to be a bounty hunter anymore because I'm tired of seeing people die or my people die. No, dude, you're a freaking hunter. He would go back to hunting. That's my opinion. And that rabbit scene, the rabbit bot scene was dumb. I agree with you, Austinator, on that. That was dumb.
Danny.
God, I can't believe it, but a lot of stuff that comics didn't like, I didn't like either. I really thought I'll call it the mechanical chop shop or whatever, the cyborg shop. That just didn't seem like Star Wars to me at all. The music was all off and stuff. I'm not going to get as deep as like the sanitary stuff because I know this is fantasy and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that seemed, it didn't seem quite Star Wars to me. Like I said, that seemed more Blade Runner. I definitely thought him going back to the Sarlacc pit was a little crazy because you would think those ships got the sophisticated stuff. They could see like X-rays or have the scanners and stuff that could scan for a particular metal or something and identify, see whether or not it's in there. And I think, like we discussed on Guy Scar's show earlier this week, he should have realized when he got out the Sarlacc pit that the Jawas took the armor off of him, so it wasn't even in the armor, wasn't even in the Sarlacc pit anymore. But I guess maybe he was still distressed and still maybe in shock and didn't realize it. I'll give him that. But I definitely think he should have some kind of scanner that could definitely identify Beskar, his armor, and see whether or not it was even down there anyway. But I guess he had to physically look down there, like Alternator said, Ninja said, it was pretty stupid to me.
Or send the droid down there.
Yeah, send that
scanning droid.
That scanning droid. Exactly. That would have made much more sense to me. Somebody said, I can't remember who, that they didn't like the way he killed the biker game. I thought was right on point. I love that.
I thought it was on point too.
Yeah. What else I didn't like? It was one more thing. I'm not sure whether Fennec, we see that why she's staying with him. I still got that little in the back of my head that she might be can't be trusted.
She says she's going to stick around for the ride because he's like, yeah. Where do you want me to drop you off? And she's like, I'll stick around for the ride. I still got questions about how she's supposed to be his number 2 and stuff. How did that Wookiee get in there so easily? It almost killed him, and she didn't seem like she should have responded as fast as she should have. So that still is lingering in the back of my head, which it may be nothing, but yeah, some of the chop shop thing and going back to the Sarlacc pit, I thought was extremely stupid and stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping these last 3 episodes will be much better. All right,
but I do believe they're going in the right direction.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I do. I think comics is like, yeah, well, you couldn't have gotten much worse. But don't ever underestimate Disney. They'll take that as a challenge if you say they can't get worse. So, Danny, I'm going to call you out right now, Mister. Well, I can't understand why people, when they get new stuff that they don't, that we are always like, they're always jumping all over it. Listen, the music, okay, not Star Wars, but listen, you're adding something new. It didn't kill anything. It makes sense in the place. Yes, they stole it from Cyberpunk 77. I know that. It's literally, if I remember right, it's the opening scene.
You go call me out, the guy who was basic math. Now I finally converted to y'all algebra bullshit. And now you calling me out because I'm agreeing with y'all been saying for this shit.
Danny's getting revealed in real time.
What the hell? I finally stopped listening to the music. I didn't. Before this shit, I understand.
No, I fully support your decision, Danny.
No, oh my God.
Listen, I am totally riding you on that for just to fuck with you. Okay, so here's the deal. You're right. It's still Cyberpunk 77. They stole it right out of the game. Listen, I don't hate that necessarily. It just Listen, you could have had like a little radio playing the fucking Cantina song in the background. That's all you needed. You don't need
the
all
thing too,
this.
cybernetics in Star Wars are a little bit different than how they are in like say Cyberpunk, right? It's the attitude is also completely different. It's more just I had a limb blown off. I need a replacement. Yeah, the idea of people going and actively replacing stuff. That is a very Cyberpunk theme, not necessarily a Star Wars one.
Yeah.
I thought it should. I won't say going quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It should be more like how when the Emperor was putting the implants on Anakin to become Vader. If he'd have took it somewhere to a facility more like that, that would have been more in tune and more in line with Star Wars. But this right here seemed like it fast forwarded like 50, 60 years into the future. They just didn't see Star Wars me on that particular scene. But if it would have been more like the droids doing the stuff instead of actual humans, I think I could have bought more.
Right now, this is still all way out of sorts for Tatooine. This stuff might work if we were doing scenes in Coruscant, because things are, Tatooine is
way progressive.
Well, yeah, but Tatooine is your rural farmers, things like that. They're not techie. Not even the people who live in these little towns are techie. They're just there. They're living day-to-day life. So they don't really fit in.
It's the ass end of the universe.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't hate the concept of the cyberpunk stuff, but it doesn't belong in Tatooine. And there's still no answer for why are they there. What? So 20 years ago, we never saw it in the original Star Wars or anything like that. So what? They just showed up 5 years ago from Coruscant, said, let's just go after the ass into the universe and just plant roots and start up there.
Isn't that going against what you just told me?
I said I was fucking with you.
No. I'm saying, but I know about that particular part, but I thought you were serious about saying that things change and we see different new things. So, in every society,
works if you have a reason for it. What's the reason for these kids who seem to be hip and cool saying, let's go out?
Because Austin and Ninja Joy does totally different things than what me, you, and comics would do because of the generation gap. So it's going to be something different. If we say you're supposed to wear red, white, and blue, shit, they might come in and wear red, white, and green because that's what youth do.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with what Resolute Germ said. He says Tatooine would be filled with mid-rim refugees at this point. I agree.
Mm-hmm. But and it's still, I said it last week, I think, where it's too sparsely, populated. George Lucas purposely went back into his original trilogy to beef up the population to make it look like, hey, look, people actually live here.
Yeah.
And it still feels very unpopulated. And it's the same thing in The Mandalorian and all the other stuff we've seen. It just feels like they're.
Well, Jabba's palace seems really unpopulated too, and that's kind of my criticism of all the stuff that they've done. Even with the Mandalorian, it's like there's times when they walk into the places like it's so freaking empty.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel it.
It's like you not have budget for extras.
Well, budget
there's not enough room for extras.
You get 5 people and you change their clothes 30 times, and then you double, you flip, you move, you do all sorts of stuff, and you put them out in the distance. Listen, that's what George Lucas did. I think they said they did it with 20 people. All those extra shoots they did with 20 people. If he can do it, Disney should be able to do it. Maybe. The Sarlacc pit. Let's even get away from the ship being there. Him going back to it. Why did he go back to it? He doesn't remember waking up when the Jawas were taking it from him.
Yeah, that's a huge issue.
I'm like, wait a minute. He was awake. He was conscious. Now I understand you're in and out of consciousness, but would he not listen? He's in the Bacta tank and he's having all these memories of everything else. He can't remember 5 seconds of them taking his armor.
We said that.
He doesn't even need to be there.
Yep.
I was almost ready for it to become an inner space thing. Like when he tried to keep going down further, like he said, wait a minute, hit that button right there. And it like parts of the ship started folding into themselves so he could get smaller. So he
didn't tell her to push the button. She did it herself.
No, I know that one, but I was like half expecting an inner space moment. And I was like, if they did that, I was gone. But it just doesn't make sense. I do question the whole, does the Sarlacc have enough strength? Where's that strength coming from? Because you don't really see muscles or any like central organism. It's like that beak's all it is. Though I forgot to say in the plus side, I am glad after George Lucas added the beak that they actually looks like they used the same model and used that same beak. I give them kudos on that because it looked like the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi. Feels like it. That was great. But there's no need to go back to it. In the books, and I know I tell people we don't go by EU here because George Lucas didn't recognize EU either. But in the books, Boba Fett goes back, I think, 2 or 3 times before he does destroy the Sarlacc. He does do that. But this seems kind of like one overkill. I mean, push that button and that bomb going like, like it's like, I don't know. The whole Sarlacc pit thing just didn't make sense to me. Although it does explain the Bantha tank, because she does say you need a Bantha tank. I think though, if he came out, yes, all his robes and stuff, instead of having that goo on it, that goo should have been like burning through the clothes, and he would have had to
have been burning through his skin.
Like, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They should have shown him trying to take that stuff off and her trying to do something.
Well, it would have been dumb of him to go in without wearing some form of suit to protect him. I mean, it's just because plot.
Yeah, but again, the whole reason for going back is to find this armor. Which, wait a minute, you got out of the Sarlacc with your armor on. You don't remember? It's like he is inept at the most inconvenient times. It's like so obvious that he should have remembered. I got out of the Sarlacc pit. I had my armor on. My armor's not in there. Why do I even want to go back in that thing I've been spending time in or whatever? Oh, yeah, that was my big problem with this.
As far as we know, that his clothing could have had some kind of, what's that stuff they use for his armor? It could have been woven into that. I mean, I don't know, but
he got that from the Tusken Raiders.
No, I'm talking about the white stuff he had on.
Oh,
when he first got a tank. They could have had that Bespin threading or some shit. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
if you want to get technical about it, because it didn't seem pretty burnt or damaged to me.
I don't know. Anyways, the Sarlacc pit was the one thing that really did it in for me. I want more context to the cyberpunk people before I really even consider it worth being there. Because I mean, other than just looking cool and for the kiddos, which seems like Disney's big thing.
Well, the other thing too, I find really kind of dumb about that is they called them mods, right? Which is again is on the nose. If you don't know what the mods are, the mods is a subculture. And what do they ride? Wait for it, Vespas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's that. Let's go for final thoughts. Grades, predictions.
And couldn't he have used his jetpack to fly out of the Sarlacc pit?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Even if it malfunctioned that one time, I think he would still probably be able to use it potentially.
In the comic book where he got out, he caused an explosion by getting the Sarlacc to wrap around him, and then it caused an explosion from his jetpack that caused it to reel, and then he used concussion grenades to get out. So yes, that's. They should have used something like that, because if he had gotten it, like it didn't work or something,
they should have just told the story from the comic.
They should have. Anyways,
yeah.
All right. So overall thoughts. I mean, not overall thoughts, but final thoughts. Any predictions and grade for this episode? Start with you, Danny. Go ahead.
Like I said earlier, I think we're going to see Mando, or either I don't think that female warrior is dead, so I'm thinking maybe she's going to a different tribe, maybe deeper in the desert, and maybe bring him for reinforcements, maybe a little bit of revenge against the Pikes, or he already killed the motorcycle gang, so I guess might help them with the Pikes. I think we may see Mando because, like George said, I think they did play his theme a time or two at the end of the episode, so I think we may see Mando, and I give this episode a B+. Needs more improvement. Definitely doesn't deserve an A, but I've seen, like I said earlier, I've seen worse. And I think it's going in the right direction. So I will give it a B+.
Okay, B+. Comics, what do you think? Final thoughts and grade.
Yeah, final thoughts. Why does this show even exist? I don't know. Seriously, there's much better content out there for you to enjoy when it comes to Star Wars, when it comes to the EU. Lots of stuff on Boba Fett, lots of stuff on Mace Windu, lots of stuff on different characters that are, quite frankly, I think more interesting that we're getting in these Disney shows. As far as predictions, I don't have any other than disappointment. Grade
Okay.
D-. Like I said, it was okay, but it's nothing to write home about. The other thing too, rewatchability. That's something we never really talked about. Anybody plan on going back and rewatching the show at some point?
I watch it twice each time. I want to make sure I have my facts right when I come on these shows.
Well, that makes sense. But later down the road, are you planning on ever rewatching the show again?
Maybe a few years down the road, I ain't got nothing better else to do.
I've thought about watching Mandalorian again.
I watched Mandalorian with Ahsoka, episodes Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker. I watched that several times.
Yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Osnator, final thoughts. Great.
My final grade is, you know what? I'm going to give it a B+. I was actually just very happy that we got something really good for it, this show. But I do kind of agree with comics. Like, none of these shows to me are that rewatchable. Like, I can't see myself going back. Like, I can maybe, if some of these episodes are really good, I will go back to a certain specific episode, but I don't think I would go back and watch the entire show again. But as far as predictions go, we're going to at least see Mando. I think at least maybe last, at most, we're probably going to see him around episode 5. Or no, not episode 5, episode 6. At the most, latest. I believe that my theory is the next episode's probably going to be a little slow, and then probably around episode 6 it'll be a little bit more action oriented. And you know, I'm just glad that none of these episodes thus far has gotten below a D for me, which I think all my grades have been in like the B-C range, so it's at least not in the D range yet. So I mean, hey, it's a good, you know, hopefully it doesn't screw up in the end, which I don't think it will, because I'm just glad that I at least have something, you know, decent to watch, at least on Disney Plus. So yeah, overall B+.
Okay. I highlighted this. Hakimi, great point. He mentioned how bad the acid in the pit was without his armor, but his armor was strong enough not to melt. But how could you get out of the Sarlacc pit alive without it? There you go. That whole Sarlacc pit. What was the purpose? I know looks. Let's bring him back to the Sarlacc pit, one-on-one battle. You know, and he isn't even the one that destroyed it. I mean, so, yeah, but okay. I just wanted to highlight that. That's a very good point. So let's see here. Ninja, go ahead.
All right. B+ for me as well. I really enjoyed this episode. Next week's episode, I think, is actually going to be slow, but we're going to see him recruit Mando, maybe some other cameos like Bosk or Dengar as well. You know, maybe they could get the whole Dengar thing, because in the EU, Dengar and him actually become best friends. So maybe they would grab that aspect. I don't really know though. So yeah, next week's episode is probably going to be a recruiting episode.
Say it.
So yeah.
Say it then, Jordan.
No.
Say it, please.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Say what?
You know what's on your tongue. You want to say it.
Come on.
What?
Who you think we're gonna see on there?
We're gonna see Mando.
No. Other people.
Dengar.
No.
Why would he recruit Mace Windu?
No. We ain't talking about Mace Windu. No. You know who I'm talking about? Initials of CD. Come on, let's say it. You say it every week. Come on.
Cad Bane?
No.
Or who?
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
is
Okay.
against.
We're gonna see more Crimson Dawn. I enjoyed. We're gonna see him next episode. We're gonna see him in the season. You know what? They're gonna show up in the last 3 episodes, and then they're gonna make an entire show about Crimson Dawn.
Well, technically, they already appeared because they're a part of the Pikes.
They're gonna call it Kira and the freaking Crimson Dawn. That's what they're gonna call it.
I'm just picking at you. This shit's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna say. I mean, I guess the next one's probably gonna be more of the whole recruitment thing. He needs more people there. Maybe I saw somebody say something about the Tusken army coming on the last episode. I think it would actually make more sense to come in one of the next 2 episodes. I think the war is going to start in the streets in the next episode. I think if the Tuskens come back, you get all the people you were talking about you need in that palace, so he can staff the palace with Tusken Raiders. I mean, they listen to him, they talk to him, so I guess that works. The female warrior comes back to give it, to help him. Fine, but I'm really predictions outside of that. I just like I said, this next episode, I think this whole war between him and the Pikes and whoever is going to start. Then it's going to get in the episode after that. It's going to be very, close to him losing, or something bad's going to happen to him and his group of people. That's going to make it look like he's going to lose this war. And then in the last one, he'll pull it out, and something, Mando will come in, Luke will come in, a bunch of different things will happen, and yay, we all won, and that something like that. But I'm giving this a B+.
You make it sound so exciting, Chris.
I know I do. I really do. Again, I think the biggest problem with the show is you have Boba Fett, and as much as I disagree with comics as far as the bad guy thing, as opposed to a hired gun, which is what he was.
No disintegrations.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't deny the fact that he was a badass. It's obvious he was a badass, or he wouldn't have been said no, or nothing like no disintegrations would have been said. Obviously, he doesn't care if it's get the guy and there's no need to keep him alive. He's willing to take whatever he has to do it. That's not this Boba Fett. You would not necessarily, even with the Tusken Raiders stuff, you wouldn't change your mentality of, if the job needs to be done, we're going to do what we need to do to get it done. And he seems to have lost that. So, but
you got to realize,
with all that said, this episode is a B+ for me. Danny,
you got to realize too now, his dad was just killed in front of his eyes. He really had nobody to train himself. So from whatever age he was until we see him on Star Wars, he had to fend for himself. So
you actually see some of that in Clone Wars, the Clone Wars TV series, because he was in it.
Yeah, I'm saying, but he was like a young buck. When I was a young officer, man, I didn't give a shit. I would go out there and write tickets and run people down and kind of stuff. But as years go on and I evolve, then I learn more and I work smarter, not harder. So I'm just saying, maybe that is the evolution we've seen with Boba Fett. He's not the badass we've seen and know, but now he's working smarter. And I think he can cut it on. When he needs to cut that shit on, I think he can cut it on. That's what I'm saying. We just haven't seen him cut it on yet.
Resolute says Tuskens will save the day, which is, again, I don't want Tuskens to save the day. I'm fine with them being there and being a part of this army or whatever he has. The person who needs to not save the day, but win everything and be the leader, is Boba Fett. That's the whole purpose of this. And so far, he has always relied on other people.
It'll be Fennec Shand.
It probably will be.
Well, if y'all believe in this demasculation of men, then that female Tusken Raider is going to come back.
Well, I don't even think it has anything to do with that necessarily.
I'm just saying that if people believe in this agenda that people always talk about, then that is right up. That's what's going to happen. That female Tusken Raider and maybe Fennec Shand is going to be something to make Boba Fett look like, oh shit, I could have done.
I can point you to websites that are used by the industry where they talk about the stuff.
Okay, I'm not doubting. I'm just saying, I don't care if they are doing that. It's not going to change how I feel. Look at something. They could put 50 men women on any kind of show. I'm still gonna believe.
Well, I mean that's not the problem. I mean, it's the if you want to have equality, you got to have equality. I have no problems with Fennec Shand being there, but I want them to be partners. I don't want them.
I agree.
One to be better than the other. I mean, they're both competent bounty hunters, and they should complement the other's weaknesses.
I agree.
And their strengths should also complement.
I agree.
Okay. All right, go around one more time. We're going to start down with Nindroid. Talk about your channel and what you got coming up. Go ahead, Nindroid.
All right. You guys can personally find me on my own YouTube channel, Nindroid243, where over there I'm working on episode 9 From the Darkness, my fan edit cut of The Rise of Skywalker, my attempt to fix that film the best I can. A lot of people are helping with it, so if you guys want to come over and check out progress, make sure that you subscribe. Also, we have Galactic Chat every single week on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about Star Wars movies and a lot of other things. So, guys, just come over and, yeah, you guys can hang out with us. And thank you, Chris, for having me on.
All right, Austinator.
Yes, I have my own YouTube channel. I'm at over 200 subs. I do a bunch of stuff over there. Go and check me out. You can find me on Review 3000 for the weekly wrap-up. You can find me on Chaos Central for the Book of Boba Fett Roundtable, Nindroid's channel for Galactic Chat. You can find me on Guy Scar, Basco Scenarios channel for the Hangout on Wednesdays. You can find me on Friday nights on Jason Lee Tucker Statements channel for a late night stream. And I also help run the Chaos Central Twitter, which literally right after the stream, I'll be tweeting out the next roundtable at 9 o'clock, Group 2, which is the inferior group, as I like to call them.
Wow.
They don't get to stay at the cool table like us. And you can also find me on Twitter at the Austinator17. Sometimes I tweet, sometimes I retweet, sometimes I don't. It's a lottery. Go check me out. Chris, thanks for having me on. Great shooting with you guys again, and I can't wait for the eventual Crimson Dawn versus freaking Team Boba Fett, Civil War, Dawn of Tatooine, whatever other taglines they would put for like one of those like versus movies. Dawn of Tatooine, Civil War, and then eventually leading into this big endgame crossover where everyone's going to appear, and then Crimson Dawn's going to be led by the guy with the dark saber. I keep forgetting his name, but that'll be
Gideon.
Yeah, Moff Gideon.
Yes, Moff Gideon, and the freaking Crimson Dawn versus Boba Fett. Mando, we got the Baby Yoda in there too. We some banthas.
Is that Rumble? Is that the Royal Rumble matchup there by any chance?
Yes, and the only way they can gain control of Tatooine is they got to throw them into the Sarlacc pit.
Well, the Sarlacc pit. What would that hurt now? Sarlacc's dead.
Well, maybe they'll get a new Sarlacc.
I'm sure there's another one out there. They got a new Rancor. Might as well get a new Sarlacc.
I guess so.
Yeah, get a new Sarlacc. Get a new. Just get a new everything. They got to revamp stuff. Hey, maybe
Epsilon Minus says here, Boba's going to take over Tatooine, and then he's going to travel the galaxy doing leadership seminars.
That's good.
All right. Anything else, Austinator?
No, that's about it. Just, can't wait for next week. Hopefully, Crimson Dawn shows up, and maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll even see freaking, Han, Luke, Kylo show up too with Crimson Dawn. Maybe the official, maybe the heel turn begins. Luke Skywalker's the third man. He's the third man. Oh my God, he's part of Crimson Dawn. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. Just, subscribe to everybody, and just have respect, we do this for fun, just we have our own opinions, and we just come on here, I like to think we have fun, although Chris, when Chris is here, you never know, so
yeah, I know. I'm a total buzzkill, aren't I?
Yeah.
All right, comics. Tell everybody about yourself.
Well, hey, I'm Comics Division. You can follow me on YouTube and Twitter at Comics Division, where I stream every Monday and Thursday, talking about things and stuff, and trying to get every episode of the Book of Boba Fett reviewed. God help me. So yeah, I'm 2 behind, but they'll be coming.
All right. Sorry, my footrest came off of my my damn chair here. So sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Danny.
I'm Danny, aka Comic Chat. You can find me on Chaos Central tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My show is a chaotic conversation. 4 topics, 4 people, sometimes 5, depending on availability, and we just talk about different things, whatever comes up in my mind to discuss as a topic. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this last episode of Peacemaker was actually better than this. And I think Peacemaker as overall sucks, but last episode wasn't too bad. So, if you're watching that, I'm planning on doing something on that. Me and Alonzo was talking about last night, but I got caught up in the show called All Rise, man. God, that shit is like crack on Hulu. So, again, thank you for inviting me to the show, to this roundtable. I don't think the other people are inferior. Also, you got to pay that when Daddy Line hears that. So just go ahead and prepare to get that whipping. But again, I enjoyed it as always, and I look forward to the next 3 weeks.
All right. And I am Chris Knight. The Real Review 3000 is my channel. Gospel According to Chris on Monday. We got other things, gaming streams, Knight Rider, which is just basically a conversation that I have with the chat on my way home. All sorts of fun stuff over there. We'll be back to the Rumble before long, another month and a half or so, maybe somewhere around there. And yeah, so guys, thank you everybody for watching today. I appreciate all my guests here on the show. Stay tuned, 9 o'clock coming up very soon. We're going to be back with the Book of Boba Fett Roundtable Group 2. Different opinions. Normally last week we were all almost the same in what we said. So thank you everybody, and thank you to my panel, and good night. Bye.
Good night, everyone.